Okay, we're back.
We're back. Welcome to another Parking Lot Movie Reviews.
We watched Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma.
We sure did. The director is the same director, Jane Schoenbrun.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm saying your name right. But she also did the classic I Saw the TV Glow.
Yes.
So we were so excited to catch this film in theaters opening weekend because we enjoyed that one so much. And yeah, we're going to dive right into kind of the feelings we have on the film.
Yeah, we wanted to see this film because, it's obviously like the next entry into like cinema from Jane, and really stoked on I guess the feelings that we got from I Saw the TV Glow. Like, it's a very like emotionally driven movie that has a lot to do with identity and like, like who you are, who you
Accepting yourself.
Yeah, accepting yourself, but also like understanding that like you're open to change and accept your changes, your metamorphosis.
Absolutely. The queer experience also has been something that this director loves to talk about and loves to portray in different ways, dealing with like pop culture, film, TV shows. Yeah. So that's also a thread that also is in this film.
Yeah, this movie, you feel and you go through many phases of understanding kind of like your placement in a lot of what you just talked about, like pop culture. Like, it has this really strong meta commentary. It's very self-aware. Had a really good time with it. Like, it's hard to we talked about this. It's hard to like talk about it without like giving too much away. Like, it's really a movie you just gotta like see for yourself and feel how it kind of like comes over you. Like it's self-aware.
It is very self-aware. It is a commentary in a way of horror films and like franchises. I don't know.
They explain that really well in the film about how, like, again, that's another like self-awareness it has when it comes to like Hollywood, how Hollywood wants to kind of do the reboot of a reboot of a reboot. And what I understand too of this film is it's even like so self-aware that it is calling itself a remake, because you'll know when you see it. You know, like it's really like strongly advised that you do see it. The soundtrack's a banger. We're constantly talking about the music in movies.
The use of like hand painted scenery and scenic shots was absolutely phenomenal and beautiful and unique in this age of everything AI, unfortunately, and things like that. Seeing some of that whimsy in the film was gorgeous.
Yeah. A lot of there was practical stuff. There was not practical stuff. There was stuff that was intentionally over the top because it was intentionally over the top. Again, like, I just can't say enough how self-aware this movie is. How like fun of a watch it is, how great it is to see a classic, like film star, a classic screen star of our generation, Gillian Anderson, up there delivering in a manner that you don't see Gillian Anderson in. Like, if you grew up watching X-Files, you see Agent Scully, right? That's who you see her portray. However, in this, it's like no, like she portrays.
The voice reminded me so much of Dolly Parton in Steel Magnolias.
Oh, that's good.
If you've ever seen that movie, the accent of Gillian Anderson in this movie is that.
Yeah.
I
wonder, like, I mean, obviously accents are intentional when like that's not how somebody speaks, like, so I wonder if like that was kind of like,
I don't know, but it really, really reminded me that. But what's really lovely about this film is that it really takes, again, that love of the horror genre to the next level, and also it relating it also to the queer experience. This director has done that in her previous films, and she did it with this film, and kind of is a commentary on why queer people love horror films and how they do see themselves as the villain at times, or can relate more to a villain in a straight horror film because of the way society has a lens on queer people.
Yeah.
So it's also had an element of that as well, and I felt like they did a really good job portraying that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, like, fully. Another really interesting thing about it is the amount of product placement.
It's intentional, though.
Of course, it's intentional. Like, is that part of like the meta part of it? Is that part of the experiential part of it? It's one of those things where you do find yourself in some capacity, you know, like relating because of like common interests, like something that are some of these like products. You know, I don't want to give too much of it away in that sense because it
could be.
It's a fun surprise when you like see the way that some of these things are done. It's almost like utilized surreal, like in a surreal way.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it is very like meta. I know I was like, you know, without giving too much away, but it really is like a movie within a movie within a movie. You know, lots of layers to like unpack there.
Yeah.
Acting was phenomenal. I felt like I knew these characters. I was there with them, just along for the ride, watching this journey and this surreal part of the experience, you know. It also had a lot to do with like intimacy and queer intimacy as well, but that anyone could also relate to as well. So that's also a big part of the film.
I mean, talking about that, like that's a really strong subject to understand about this movie. And like I think that people going into it may not, I mean, unless it's like somewhere written on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, like we also like do a thing where we kind of like remove ourselves until we see the film, and then we do our research, like, you know, do like, you know, what's released about it. But the intimacy part of this film is like it plays a major role. And as you mentioned, like having that relatability that like, yeah, like
we all
you can
think
see
about
yourself in some of those like
experiences,
instances.
Yeah, sexually, our first experiences and intimacy in general. They do a really good job with that, and you get kind of an understanding. And again, it all ties into, all these themes tie into like horror films and the horror genre, which is really cool that she was able to do that.
Yeah.
Because that is her experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, amongst like her favorite genre, basing, you know, like within the movie characters that's their favorite genre, like it really, it has this like, again, self-awareness to it, this intentional self-awareness of like, this is why I did this, and I'm flat out kind of telling you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In a really fun way.
And the movie does have a lot of like twists and turns, and really it's very unpredictable where it's gonna go, and I absolutely love that. It's not very like linear where, oh my god, this needs to make sense in this. It does use a lot of like symbolism and meta aspects to it. So if you've seen I Saw the TV Glow, you'll kind of understand that, where it's not your typical film where you're like, I need to piece together and it needs to make full sense in that way.
Yeah, it presents itself how it presents itself, and you do get it. You know, and if you don't, watch it again, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely do want to watch it again. I feel like this is a film you can keep watching to kind of get some of the meta commentary that's in there, because it's full of it. It really, really is.
Yeah. Jane loves a good creature to an extent. And the creature, seemingly in the last, you know, 2 films, has like humanoid body, literally over the top head, where it's just kind of like, you know, if you saw I Saw the TV Glow, you saw like the kind of melting ice cream man. In this one, you're going to see what you see, and you're going to see that like kind of correlation amongst like the thematics that they like to carry, that she likes to carry throughout her films. And I think it's really important because you like get the director's identity out of that. You get the understanding of like their perception of like how they want to convey something and the reason for these things. And it's just, it's a really good watch, really solid watch. I think great entry into not just like horror, but comedy, but also
it was very funny.
Yeah,
too.
Very funny. It had like almost a stage play aspect too, because you mentioned a lot of the painted scenes, you know?
Yeah. The music is also another thing. The soundtrack to this film is banging. You're going to be in the movie theater just like moving around. It has like that indie feel.
Totally. $1,000,000%.
Very like whimsy indie pop vibes to the soundtrack, which of course was was very cool.
And nostalgic at times for us because there were tracks that we recognized. And that was like important to like even be able to what is the word, like relate and be comfortable in that space. Like you feel like you feel like you're having a conversation with a friend. Like even watching the movie, you're just like, I feel like,
yeah, that's what I meant, how it felt very intimate. It felt like you were just there with them and just watching, but like in a very intimate way. It was very interesting, the feeling it gives you watching this type of film. From the trailer, though, I feel like I didn't know what to expect from this, and this was not what I thought, like what I came into it. I kind of thought it was going to be more straightforward horror-esque for some reason, and I was pleasantly surprised that it really went there. It was very, very different than what I had kind of anticipated.
True. And to reiterate too, Jane made a different movie. Didn't remake I Saw the TV Glow.
No,
but, like,
not at all.
Carried over again, like thematic elements that represent like who she is as a filmmaker. I just wanted to like point that out. I do find myself reminded, you know, because we talked about the indie aspect of like the music. I find myself reminded of like older indie titles as well that kind of like carried it carries its same feeling as like an indie film you would have seen at an indie movie theater like in the early 2000s, and it's just like becomes a cult hit. But thankfully this one has like a larger release than that, and I feel as though it's also going to be a cult hit.
Exactly. I do think that this will be a cult hit. Yeah, I'm ready to rate it.
Okay.
Yeah, on 3.
Alrighty. 1, 2, 3, 4.5.
So then a 4.
A 4, solid
Gets a 4 from us, and I think I can agree around there.
Alrighty. See you next time.
Bye-bye.